All right, it looks like we're recording. Well, hello everyone. Thanks for watching this info session today. My name is Tony Woodman and I am the academic advisor for environmental sciences, environmental sustainability, and mathematics. And today we're going to be talking about all of the majors within the Division of Science and Math. So today here with me, I have Beth Ann Hoover and Erica Tucker. You can see them on the screen here. These are our two advisors for the biomedical sciences program. And then also with us today, we have our division chair, we have some major coordinators here, and some additional faculty members. And I'll let all of them introduce themselves as we go along today, so you can, as you hear about their different programs. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We have a outline today. Can everybody see my main screen of the PowerPoint? Okay, awesome. We have a brief little outline today. So like I said, we're going to go over just the overview of the division. We'll do a brief introduction to all of our four majors. And then we are, oh shoot, you guys, we're not going to do breakout rooms because you'll be watching this later. So we will have a chance though for you to meet the different faculty members in this video. So we want you to know you can reach out to the advisors and faculty members with any questions about programs that you have after watching this. On the screen here, I also put a URL and a QR code to our website. So this info session is going to be relatively short, but there's lots more to learn about these majors. So we want you to know that at any point you can go ahead and go to our website and read more about the majors, look at all the classes required for the majors, and again, reach out to us for more information. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to our division chair to talk about leadership and faculty within the division.
Welcome everybody, and again, thank you for watching this video with us today. I'm Dr. Joyce Dingle Sampanelli. Primarily, my role is an associate professor of chemistry, and so I actually teach a lot of our chemistry classes within the division, but also I've had the privilege for the past 5 years of leading our science and mathematics division as the division chair. What does that do is I'm essentially leading the management of the four majors that you will hear about today within sort of the unit of science and mathematics. We know from our talking to students that sometimes you kind of feel like, which is my home within this huge institution? For any of you who are thinking about majoring in the four majors that you'll hear today, SAM, or Science and Mathematics, will be essentially your home away from home in this big institution of UW-Tacoma. And I end up being at least the one that leads this group. So any concerns that you may have, issues, scheduling, whether student concerns, a lot of that falls within my purview. I do have some help. I do have a division chair, Haley Skipper, who's unable to be with us today as she is on family leave. And you will hear a lot from our major coordinators. So if you can imagine, this division is one of the largest within the School of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences. We currently have 47 permanent faculty, and we are nearing 400. I didn't pull my latest numbers, unfortunately, in time for this recording, but at least nearing 400 in the number of the majors. But at the same time, in addition to the majors, we're the unit that really provides all of the natural world and a lot of the quantitative classes that fulfill the general ed requirements. And so we actually manage quite a bit. So any science or math classes really falls within our division. The one thing that I really urge is that, we are so excited that you are interested in one of our majors. The one comment and one thing that I urge everybody to get from this information info session today is the resources and the support that you will have once you join our major. We are very proud of the faculty who is very dedicated in supporting your learning and your progression in your chosen major. So it doesn't matter whether you're intending to declare math, environmental sustainability, environmental science, or biomedical sciences. You will often see a lot of our faculty just contributing to all of these four majors. And then you'll meet our major coordinators later on as we talk about it, more specific to the majors that you may be interested in. Also, being part of our division, we want to be able to, we are very proud of providing faculty advising to each and every one of our students. And hopefully you'll hear a little bit about that as well today. And also we are fortunate, especially in the sciences, that we are able to provide you with up-to-date facilities and equipment in the laboratory courses that you will be taking. Don't take those for granted, folks. It's always one of the things that we try to provide our students to make sure that you are supported in your learning. So again, thank you for being, being here, but virtually and watching this recording. And feel free to reach out to any one of us or easy. You saw Tony and the website. All of our contact information are there, and we're always happy and excited to hear from prospective students. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm one of your academic advisors if you maybe are interested in biomedical sciences, but one of the awesome things about SAM, and that's the Science and Math Division, that separates us and I think is a really incredible advantage that we have is that you get 2 advisors when you're a SAM major. So you have not only the academic advisors, which you might be familiar with if you have a pre-major advisor, but you also have a faculty advisor. And this is one of your faculty members you maybe have classes with, but who can really help you with your professional goals. So it could be planning for a capstone requirement you might have as part of your major. It could be discussing options for graduate school, other career paths that you might pursue directly following UW-T, and also just to provide some great perspective on what that science or math pathway that you might be looking for. So this is a great opportunity. We encourage you to meet regularly with your faculty advisor and also with your academic advisor. And we're here to help with academic planning, which is really important with science and math sequencing that you'll need to complete. And we want to make sure that you're progressing through your degree and that taking the classes that you need each quarter to meet your academic goals. And then we're also here to help you to interpret and explain university policies, apply for graduation, things like that. So we work together with you as a student to do short and long-term planning, as well as provide any kind of academic support or connection to other campus resources that you might have.
All right, I am Erica Tucker. I am the other advisor, academic advisor for biomedical sciences. Requirements, admission requirements. So they are very similar across the board for all SAM majors. All of our majors require that you have completed at least 45 credits at the time you would enter the major. A minimum 2.0 cumulative GPA, a minimum 2.0 in an English composition course, and a minimum 2.0 grade in intermediate algebra or higher college level math course. As far as major declaration for environmental science, environmental sustainability, and math, for those majors, you can declare almost any quarter, autumn, winter, or spring. You'll just want to reach out to Tony, who you met earlier, and her email is right here along with her name. It's also on the website. So that's how you want to start that process for those majors. For biomedical sciences, there's a little bit more to it. We do have a supplemental application that's linked on the biomedical sciences website. It's a relatively short application. We want some of your, your name, your student ID number, your email, that type of thing. We want you to kind of look over, there's a series of short answer questions that you'll need to answer as part of the application and a couple other things. We are going to hold, if you're watching this before March 4th, we'll be having a couple of application workshops next week before the deadline for fall 2022 admission, which is on March 15th. So February 28th, that's a Monday, 12:30. The Zoom links here on the screen. We'll also be posting that on the website. You can also check in with your pre-major advisor. If you are watching this after March 4th, which is our second next week application workshop, if you're watching after that date, just get in touch with Beth Ann and I. We can help kind of guide you through that process. Yeah, again, March 15th for autumn 2022 admission. Biomedical sciences just admits students once per year for fall quarter each year.
Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
So today, most of our time will be spent talking about major programs, but we did want to point out some of our minor and certificate programs that we have as well. We do have somebody here today that will talk more in depth about the restoration ecology minor and certificate, but we just wanted to make sure that you're aware of the other minors and certificate programs that we have. And so they're listed on the screen here too. We just want to point out these compare really well with some of the majors within science and math, as well as majors across campus. So if you end up declaring a different major, but still have this interest in some of our science and math courses and programs, consider adding a minor or certificate in. And you can go back to that SAM website that we linked earlier to learn a lot more about these programs. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to our math coordinators to start our major information.
Great, thank you. My name is Eric Tao. I'm one of the 2 co-coordinators of the math program.
Hi, my name is Rita Fan, and I'm another math coordinator of the math program.
So you can see here on the screen some general information about the math major. We offer a BS degree in math or a math minor. Some of our curriculum highlights cover the Math Enthusiast series. That is a series that runs all year, covering lots of different topics, some research oriented, some recreational, some different from all of that. Those are presentations open to the general community, so anyone who's interested can attend. We do have our majors complete capstone projects. That's a culminating project that you would do typically in your senior year, and you would work with a faculty advisor on that. And alongside the capstone project, there is an opportunity there to do some undergraduate research with your advisor. I'll turn it over to Rita here for the next item.
For the career opportunities, you can be working in the data science community, and you can working with as a actuarist, or you can try to become like a math teacher or math professor along the way. Statisticians is another options for you, and another career opportunities is quantitative research. You become a scientist in researching in quantitative fields.
And then some courses that you might want to consider taking right away will depend in part on how you came to UWT. So if you are a first year student, if it's your first year of college, you'll be looking toward the calculus sequence. So calculus 1, 2, and 3, those are TMath 124, 125, 126. If you're transferring in with an associate's degree, you've had a lot of those calculus courses, then you'll be starting probably at Math 300, also Math 307, 308, and then our Seminar 350 at the junior level.
So you can see that in the picture here was taken in 2020 when the pandemic started, and we in the math program we have the math major award celebrations every year. So because of the pandemic, we just decided to do it outdoor on campus with others together here. So if you have any questions about the math majors or minor, or about like courses you want to take, do not hesitate to reach out to both of us.
And you can find contact information for both of us and for all the coordinators on the SAM website.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next program is environmental sustainability.
Hi, I'm Professor Kuntz. I actually grew up in the region, and I'm so happy to be here teaching one of the things I'm very passionate about, the environment, environmental sustainability. This is a major that we've fairly recently kind of restructured, and we decided that it was important to encourage students to end up with a bit of specialization as well as a bit of core knowledge. So if you're joining this major, you'll see that we have several different options. Environmental policy and law is one of them, or you could focus on environmental communication. We also have an emphasis that you could choose on business or nonprofit environmental sustainability. And then the fourth one is those of you interested in environmental education. In addition, we've recently connected up with the Global Honors Program, and that's a fantastic campus-wide program. And we have a minor that's going to be integrated with their program to make it pretty easy to finish their requirements along with our requirements to give you a little extra insight on some important global issues related to environment and other things. For the curriculum, I was just looking again at the different courses that we have for the core and also on these options. And one of the things we do is provide interdisciplinary foundations in environmental sciences, whether that's geological sciences, biological sciences, chemistry. So it's a range of different environmental sciences in natural sciences, as well as the social sciences. I myself am a political scientist. I have a PhD in public policy. And a lot of the environmental issues we face depend not only on natural science, but also on social sciences to understand how people make the choices they do and how different policies and incentives might affect people's behavior. And so all of that is part of the social sciences. We also provide courses in communications and in writing. Everybody takes courses in communication and writing, and also a course or two in environmental law and critical perspectives. And then one of the core courses is about emergency sustainability science. We focus a lot on systems and how systems work and operate and related to the environment. For the career opportunities, really, there's a lot of different places students end up. I just took a look at our alumni network on LinkedIn and made a quick note of the different places that students that have graduated in this major are currently or have gone to. And so a couple of them I'll just mention here. One is corporate social responsibility, working in the private sector for companies that want to do things like reduce their carbon footprint. So their jobs there. One of my former students has a new job in waste management and recycling. We have students going into education, a lot of youth education, outdoor programming things. I have a student from a few years ago who's now in city planning in the region in the planning department. And I've had students who work in ecological restoration, including parks and recreation departments. Sometimes students want to go to graduate school, so we have some of those. I have a student in the last year who got work at a drinking water safety facility for a local government. And then one of our students is actually doing marine science research, focusing on crabs, I think, at present. So a lot of different places that people can choose to go to with this major. One other student is a GIS analyst, and that involved going to a graduate school as well. So those are just some of the many different types of careers related to environmental sustainability. As far as the priority courses to take, we don't have a whole bunch of sequence courses where you have to take 1, 2, and 3 in a row like they do, for example, in math. But the Gateway foundational course is Test 200, Foundations in Environmental Sustainability. That course is offered once a year in the fall, and that includes a sort of broad range of different types of knowledge that then students will pursue in subsequent courses. So it's really important to take that in the fall when it's offered, and hopefully that's early on in your time here. Just a couple of pictures that I put up here that I took with my own camera in the last couple of years. One of them is a classroom where students, as one of the capstone options, work with me on a research project. And here we're doing research on local community-based environmental groups and reading a lot of their meeting minutes and trying to understand the topics they covered and how they were using science in their discussion. So I use these students on the team to help me develop some research papers, including one that's been published in a journal and some conference presentations from that. The other picture is a field trip. I teach the course TESC 201, and that's a lot about systems thinking and environment. And we go on a field trip when I teach it in the summertime. This is from a field trip at a local organic farm in Puyallup. Typically, we go to the Nisqually National Wildlife Refuge and see about how humans and environment interact in that setting. So when I do that summer course, it's a fun opportunity to get outside and enjoy some of our awesome Pacific Northwest features. So that's all I have. I'll turn it over to the next major. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Mcdonald. Dr. Peter Selkin and I are co-leading this major, and he's here today. So we'll just kind of talk a little bit about that major. So, you know, basically in environmental science, you're learning about using science to identify and come up with solutions to, you know, environmental problems in society. And, you know, the hope is that will also help you not only understand how to do the science, but also how to communicate it to the community. So folks maybe with a science background, but also folks without a science background. And On top of that, we want you to try to look at this, issue through lots of different lenses. As Dr. Kuntz talked about, that there's a lot of ways of looking at a problem, and it's good to know who's at the table and kind of think about everybody's perspective to come up with solutions. So we kind of pack all that into a major. You can go with a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Science degree. Depending on your interest, though, you might want to add one of our options. So we have two. We've got the conservation, biology and ecology option, but also the geoscience option if you're more interested in the geoscience-y type stuff. And then we have, as just a few parts of the curriculum, we've got these bookend courses. So the 310 plus 200 is a course kind of introducing you to the major and the different parts of the major. You get some experience collecting data and writing that up. And then in the 410 course, you focus primarily on your one of the requirements for the major, which is a capstone project. And we've actually done a whole capstone information session, which has been recorded. So if you want a link to that recording, you can message me. You can find me on the Science and Mathematics website or in the directory, or you can email Tony and she can share that with you. But it's got a lot more of the what is a capstone type information. And then we have various field courses and labs that kind of show you how, get you to think about how to design experiments with specific questions in mind. So maybe you're outdoors and you're looking at a particular specimen, you'll learn how the tools and the methodology used, but also you get a lot of practice troubleshooting. And this is not just in the fields, you get troubleshooting in lab courses as well. And you also learn how to, if you're doing lab experiments, how to set those up. So there's a lot of exciting opportunities to learn from a lot of different disciplines within environmental science. So we want to emphasize, if you're interested in environmental science, math is really important to get through as early as possible, because a lot of our courses, for example, have pre-calculus as a prerequisite. So you want to get that done early on. So maybe if you can, if you're listening to this in February when we're recording it, you're thinking about registering for some courses next in the spring, I would strongly have you consider pre-calculus if that's possible. And then next year you would want to jump into your intro bio and intro chemistry series, and kind of you'll take those three biology and those three chemistry courses in fall, winter, and spring, ideally, if everything works out. But do reach out to your advisor, either faculty or well, you may not have a faculty advisor yet, but academic advisor, or you could reach out to one of us if you want to talk more about planning for the major. Let's go to the next slide. Peter, do you want to talk about this? Otherwise, I'm happy to.
Sure, I can field this one. So our graduates of the environmental science program go on to do a variety of careers. It's not always clear to folks who are coming in what an environmental scientist does, because it's actually a lot of different things. So many of our graduates start off in positions that get you out into the field, or are somehow technical positions with a big lab work component. These include positions with government agencies, as well as positions in consulting and with businesses. So we have a few here. You might be working on fisheries or fish hatchery stuff. You might be working on, you might find jobs doing conservation or restoration work. You might find a job with a business doing environmental engineering or environmental work with that business. So a lot of our students go into those, and many of them transition into some of these other areas of careers that I'm going to talk about here. A healthy number of our students do go into environmental education, which might take the form of doing education in schools, or maybe as a sort of a public position, working with parks or youth in other way. Like environmental sustainability, many of our graduates also go into policy and planning. So we have a number of graduates who have gone into working with agencies or nonprofits, making plans for making things better in the environmental realm, informed by science. We also do have a number of students who work in the sort of management area in terms of environmental work, particularly for government agencies, but also for businesses and consulting firms. And then there's also the opportunity to do further study in graduate school, either in an environmental science program or in a field that's closely allied with your degree. Maybe maybe you want to do further study in geoscience or fisheries management or something like that, or forestry. All of those options we've had students go into after graduating.
Great, thank you, Peter and Eric. Next, we have Cynthia Updegrave here to talk about the Restoration Ecology minor and certificate option.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's great to see all of the faculty here and advisors, and listen to all of the career opportunities and places students have gone. And I can recognize a lot of the students, and they, we intersect a lot with the courses we teach and across the programs, and students. It's just so exciting to see what they're doing after graduation. So there's a lot you can do with the degree in environmental studies, sustainability, and restoration ecology. The restoration ecology minor certificate is, when something's a minor, it is generally not, the value of the certificate program, the minor is usually, the courses are required and don't intersect as much, but with a certificate, the courses can apply to other degrees. So I'll step back and just introduce myself for a second. Once again, my name is Cynthia Updegrave, and this is the 22nd year for the Restoration Ecology Network, and I was in the first cohort, and now I'm leading the 22nd year. So there's so many ways that we all find our way in the world and through our degrees. And my background is in paleoecology. So I have a lot of background in using seeds and plants to look at land level changes in earthquake zones, and then applying that to understanding environmental history and the way that ecosystems and climate work together. One great thing about the certificate, 25 credits, a lot of the courses are field-based and collaborative and community-based. We're out there in the field with the Nisqually tribe. We're out in the field with the Muckleshoot tribe. We're working with state agencies, the Department of Natural Resources. We conduct research on rare endangered species reintroduction, the Taylor checker spot butterfly. There are great partnerships with rare species reintroductions that are based at JBLM at the joint base, located close to us. And there are ways to get certificates there as well in courses that we don't offer, like fire management and those kinds of things. But so we're always collaborating, meeting people, building partnerships, working with the community. And in that way, there's a lot of opportunities to think about how you might apply your skills. Sometimes, as someone brought up, a lot of people are working in environmental education, and we have the opportunity to work with third graders planting trees, but also doing salmon restoration, learning a lot about agencies, looking at the ways that the counties are, doing levee setbacks. So lots of different scales of engineering, geoengineering, down to how you work with young people and help them to understand what they're doing to contribute to salmon restoration or habitat restoration. So the requirements for the certificate, the foundation is the Introduction to Restoration Ecology course, 7 credits. And that is a prerequisite for the Restoration Ecology Network capstone, which is 10 credits, but they actually work really well when taken together. And the intro is in autumn and the capstone sequence starts in autumn as well. And so there will be students in the intro class that's a bit larger than students in the capstone who are tracking together for the whole year. So it's a great way to build a social network and have lots of opportunities to learn together. When we're in the intro class, we can be thinking about the problem that students are solving together with the client. For the past 7 years, or really going into the 8th year, we've been working with Metro Parks Tacoma out at Titlow Beach Park. And right now that's really exciting because a historic lagoon is being restored, and students are doing the first restoration in a little bit of a saltwater transect, saltwater to upland, and with critical stream areas. So there's a lot of ways to learn policy, look how tribes, local governments, federal agencies, and federal regulations down to the county, how all of those work together, and in the city. And we're also working with 3 graduates of the Restoration Ecology Network now, the volunteer director, and also the 2 urban habitat specialists. So Metro Parks has been creating jobs for students that graduate from the program with these students in mind. And so there's your 17 credits. And the other 8 remaining credits are often courses that you will take in conservation. They might be a class you took in geology, or that you will take in environmental law. So it's a flexible list. And then it leads, because of the problem and project team collaboration that's part of the restoration capstone, you really learn a lot of technical writing skills. You'll leave the program with really first rate and highly respected technical writing skills and document preparation. So students are working in consulting firms, some of the top, working for King County, Pierce County, the city government in Sumner, and using these technical writing skills. Students have said it has put them really at the top of internship position. Things get a little bit competitive out there, and as well working in top consulting firms where that's valued, as well as learning lots of team collaboration skills. So really, I think one of the greatest opportunities is that there really is a unique experience for you to make a difference in your community. It's interdisciplinary, it's collaborative, it's community-based, and you are applying academic knowledge as professionals in the field and working with clients and working with community partners. And so that's, I think, one of the biggest opportunities, is getting a very holistic immersion in the region, who's doing what, where, how, why, and also meeting folks from Earth Corps and AmeriCorps, and working in the national park at Mount Tahoma, Mount Rainier, seeing and repairing watersheds from glaciers down to salt water, and all that in your first year of taking these courses concurrently. So thank you very much, and please be in touch with any questions, or I can take you out to Titlow Beach to work with the students this year as they're removing an invasive species and getting ready to plant right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. All right, then I'll go ahead and hand it over to our biomedical science major coordinators.
Hello, everyone. My name is Meg Henderson, and I am one of a group of 4 biomed coordinators. I'd like to ask Yuta to introduce herself as well.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Yuta Heller, I have been a past coordinator of the biomedical sciences major, and I'm currently helping out as a support coordinator. So it's nice to chat with you today, and please do reach out if you have any questions about the biomed major.
Thanks, Yuta. And John, would you also introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm kind of the currently the understudy co-coordinator of the biomedical sciences major. I will become the more primary coordinator next year. But yes, I'm also a coordinator of the program, and you know, you will work, I guess, potentially with me as well as anyone else. So.
Thanks, John. And in addition to Yuta Heller and John Finke, Jack Vincent is also a Biomed co-coordinator. And so I hope if you have questions after this, you can reach out to any of us. But Tony, let's go on to the next slide. And the biomedical sciences is a very exciting major. It is at its core, an exploration of the life sciences. This includes many types of biology, neurobiology, physiology, and biochemistry, all as they're applied to human health. And our curriculum highlights include beginning with a series of preparatory courses. And if you're considering a biomed major, maybe you've started on some of these. You will, to prepare, to give you a good foundation for learning all this neat stuff about biology and human health, need to take calculus, physics, both general and organic chemistry, and the introductory biology series. And then once you've done that, you get to move into some of what we call our core biomed courses. And these are going to be the central part of your knowledge. They include a number of types of biology: microbiology, cellular, molecular biology, genetics, physiology, and biochemistry. And once you have those, you are also encouraged to take, or you need to take, some electives. And we have some couple of fairly lengthy lists of electives. And you'll have several choices, including things like immunology and toxicology, just as a couple of examples. Like the environmental science major, we have bookend courses. You begin with an introduction to biomedical sciences at the 310 level, and then you finish your degree by taking a Biomed Senior Seminar. And in the Biomed Senior Seminar, you look ahead to what you want to do with your degree after you graduate, and you also write up and consider your capstone and have a chance to present it and look at what you've learned from it. The capstone is another important part of the degree. It can take several different forms: research, community engagement, global health engagement, internships. Come to one of our capstone sessions and you can learn more about all of those capstone opportunities. And then finally, the major is rounded out with a couple of enrichment courses: statistics, ethics, health and society. So that is our major. And Yuta and John, anything I should have emphasized there? Does that sound good? Okay, let's go on to what you do with a biomed major. What do biomed majors do after they graduate? Well, the list is big. We have majors who work in medical research labs. They go to places like Fred Hutch Cancer Center up in Seattle, work in the lab, doing some of the really crucial research. They work in other science labs around the area. Pacific Northwest Labs is one that we've had graduates go to, and other smaller companies, everything from companies down in the Port of Tacoma to a fertilizer company over in Yakima, all kinds of lab work. Many of our graduates also go on to graduate degrees. They can do graduate work in biology, biochemistry, chemistry, public health, biomedical engineering. There's a wide range. Some of our majors want to apply to professional graduate programs. And so they're looking at pharmacy, dentistry, veterinary science, or medical school type programs. And in addition to those programs, there are many other healthcare fields that our students are ready to move into. And this can range from nursing to one of the tech programs, such as surgical tech, anesthesiology techs, and some of those related fields. So in short, we have our majors do all kinds of things. I think we have one more picture. Yes, slide. Getting started in biomed, you want to make an effort to become familiar with the requirements. You want to make a plan. You can tell that this is a busy major. You're going to get a lot from it. All the pieces you need to go into this fascinating and challenging area. And because of the number of required courses and the fact that one will often build on the one that came before it, that will build on that, it's important to have a plan for moving through the degree. It's not one you can walk into towards the end of your 4 years and say, oh, maybe I'll become a biomed major. So you want to work with your academic and faculty advisors, and we are looking forward to working with you and excited to have you consider becoming a biomed major. And I think anything else from Biomed, or does that do it, Yuta and John? Okay, so again, thank you.
Well, thank you to all of our faculty for being here today to introduce your majors. Before we wrap up, we wanted to just point out some common courses that you've been hearing about today. So in learning about all of our different majors, you'd hear some courses pop up a few times. And so we wanted to point out what those are and why that's beneficial to know. Where we find some overlap between math, environmental science, and biomed is specifically some of the math courses included in, of course, all three of those. All three of those require Calculus 1 and beyond. Of course, math goes way beyond. And for the other programs, it kind of branches out from there. In environmental science and biomedical science, you heard our faculty talk about our intro chem series, our intro bio series, and then there's also physics. And so these are courses that apply to both of those programs, and there's more. There's electives within those programs that overlap as well. And then lastly, with our environmental sustainability program, there's some statistics that also applies to other majors, and then some other science courses and electives as well. And so we bring this up for two reasons. First, as a pre-major student, as you're exploring your major options out there, if you know you're interested in science or math and want to start kind of down one of those pathways, but you maybe aren't ready to make that decision, there's still courses you could be taking right now to prepare for multiple different pathways to set yourself up to make that decision a little bit later. So we highly encourage you work with your pre-major advisor to talk about what those courses are and to get started on them early. And then second, if you start down a major path and for whatever reason things change, whether that means you've changed your mind or you're not accepted to a program, when you apply to a program like biomedical science, then if things need to change, just know that your courses can and may apply to other programs really well. And so we want to encourage you to talk with your advisors. If that comes up for you, to talk with your advisors about how your classes might move over and fit into another major within our division. We'd be happy to have those discussions with you and help you see maybe what progress you've already made towards those other programs. With that, we're going to wrap up today. We just want to say thank you for watching this information session. Please feel free to go to our website to learn more and to find all of our contact info, and do not hesitate to reach out to any of the advisors or the faculty members here. So we'll go ahead and stop there.